The following is a presentation in the Control Trends Podcasting Network.
Hello, Control Trends community. This is Ken Smyers, and I'm just doing a midweek review of some of the more important training events, and industry happenings. Eric and I believe that there's so much going on right now that anything we can do to make your lives easier and make your calendar more concise and relevant is to do these sort of things. We do Ken's calendar that's posted every week. But upcoming March, there's so many events that we know several of our colleagues have asked, when is this, when is that? But there's a lot of early bird specials that are closing the window. Time is becoming shorter and shorter to sign these up and take advantage of those advantaged rates. Also, the negotiated room rates will expire, and we all know that if you get out in front of the airfares, you typically get a better rate the further out you make the reservation. But and also the calendar, as spring and summer becomes more closer, March, April, it's going to be, the calendar compression begins, and other people have events that they want to go to. I know in our organization you always had to make sure you posted your intentions to go to these things as early as possible to make sure you don't encounter any competition for downtime and to attend these important events. But just to give you an idea, March 26th through the 28th, 2019, of course, we have the FNMT in Baltimore, Maryland. This is an important event for people that need CEUs, your continuing education units. They're going to have numerous sessions so that they help you get your recertifications. Also, great vendor customer mix and networking. March 28th here in Pittsburgh, we have the Association of Energy Engineers. It's a 1-hour luncheon, and I'll be giving that. It'll be on the difference between open protocols and open systems. Please check the website if you want to attend that. March 13th through the 15th is the Haystack Connect, 2019 Haystack Connect. Extraordinary event. They're looking for speakers, and you want to make sure you take advantage of those early bird special rates because it's out in San Diego. It's an extraordinary resort area, and it's the first class presentation, but you will pay a higher rate if you don't move on it quickly. The world event of the year so far, May 19th through the 21st, EZIO's Global. It's a world conference now, and it's in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and it's going to be at the Johan Cruyff Arena, which is, of course, it's up there with the Manchester United event and the Real Madrid Spain event that we had in the previous global event at EZIO. But EZIO is going to do some great training there. And they're also going to give us the roadmap. Control Trends is going to be there. Eric and I are making our plans now to attend, and we highly recommend you do as well. And then we have June 11th through the 14th. We have the Realcomm IBCOM show in Nashville. Jim Young, Howard Berger, Lisa Woods, and the team have put together an extraordinary agenda. And I believe they're still looking for speakers for some of those breakouts. And go to our website and find out what you need to know to get hooked up. In terms of training, we have a training EZIO is March 19th, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. This requires pre-registration, and it involves some of the products that need that they have made feature and benefit improvements, and an additional benefit of the mid-week review and update is we can specify a trend that we think is very important and has come up on several occasions and just again is in the news every day, and it's cybersecurity. And what we're doing is we're continuing the NIST, repurposing some of the very important tips that they're giving us. And this one is just really simple, good stuff that we thought would be a benefit for some of the facility managers and people that contact us about the sources that we're citing on Control Trends. And one of them was that the cybersecurity basics, just real quick 2-minute synopsis kind of thing, what to do, how you begin a program is to protect your files and devices by updating your software. And as you know now, software maintenance agreements are becoming a very important element of the industry and the framework. They can have all the fixes there, but if you don't update your software and take advantage of them, you let yourself become vulnerable for no reason. Secure your files. Back up important files offline. Use an external hard drive or in the cloud. Make sure that you store your paper files securely. They're talking about an element of physical security that you don't hear people remind you of, but just a simple, handling passwords, having your password up on top of your computer monitor, that doesn't work anymore, and it's very difficult to have a good system to remember all these passwords, but you got to keep working on it. Another reminder is, to require passwords for anything. So don't use any more default passwords. Use passwords for all laptops, tablets, smartphones, and don't leave these devices unattended in public places. Make the assumption that, what do you call it, gentle, relentless paranoia. So, encrypt your devices. We're seeing this more and more in the controls world, especially with IP controllers. There's some concern about putting IP controllers on the network, but basically the IT folks are securing your networks, and you're coming onto a secured network, and you're abiding by all of their requirements. That's much better than not having this concern for it and not using default passwords. Hopefully we're past that. But they remind you about the other things that you could have. When you bring stuff onto the network, because you can take advantage of your routers, you realize there's implications that device might not be secure. And we've had some posts on Control Trends in the past about, baby dolls and toys and different, appliances that now can go onto your network. But unfortunately, they could represent, an access point for the bots that are just prying into, networks relentlessly. And the best way to do that is to remove or replace the default password with a good alphanumeric password. And finally, the multi-factor authentication. This is kind of new in my world, but and I didn't like it at first, where everything from the iPhone, some of the accounts that we have business-wise and whatever, we require a secondary authentication. So they send if we try to log on and we're successful, that's part one. Part two is they send a text message back that we have to fill in. So according to our NIST experts, these are some of the basic cybersecurity things that we're going to continue to reiterate, repurpose, and make it a very important part of Control Trends. Alrighty, Control Trends community, that's it. If anybody has anything they'd like to send to us for posting on Control Trends or on the podcast or the videocast, please send it to controltrendscontact@gmail.com or send it to mine or Eric's email if you have them. We'd love to get better and more adept at giving this concise compilation, kind of a synopsis of what's going on in the industry month by month, week by week. Alrighty, Control Trends community, I'm going to wrap up the midweek review of 3/13/2019 with just a little tidbit coming out of the Department of Energy. I read an article that caught my attention. It was a ceiling light fan kit, the appliance equipment standard rulemaking and notices. And what this led me to learn here was that how small things lead to big results. And the building technology offices made a disclosure that American consumers saved $63 million on their utility bills in 2015 alone by these standards. And in 2030, a cumulative operating cost savings from all standards in effect since 1987 will reach nearly $2 trillion. So I just trying to make a stretch here where the IoT impact to the home markets and some of the stuff that chases us through the commercial side into the mush markets are being driven by these standards that are being put into place for appliances used in residences. But the impact is extraordinary. But so we'll have a post coming up this week where if you're interested, the Department of Energy's standards notices and rulemaking, apparently they embrace OEMs and everybody out there for their public opinion. There's meetings, there's commitments, the directions, deadlines, but there's an appliance standard rulemaking federal advisory committee, and it's a very interesting article because of the impact it makes. In other words, we don't really understand how much our IoT, the Internet of Things, has infiltrated the appliance world and how that makes such a big deal, not only in the standards that they have to comply with certain lighting requirements and energy uses, but the integration of these appliances. So that's all for this week of midweek review. Hope it's of benefit to you, and if we can do anything to improve it, please let us know.
Boom, boom, there's a knock at the door, but don't freeze in your tracks. It's that chance that you've been waiting for. It's the life.